Well, that's what we have for stuff going on with the schools. So let's keep going though. I've got some other topics I want to talk about. But guys, if you have just joined me, please make sure you mount that like button if you're enjoying this stream so far. Effed Up News is a stream that I do usually on Sundays at 5 p.m. most every week, unless I'm traveling or something. So it's just a cavalcade of really messed up news stories, and then we talk about them and mock them relentlessly and do what we do. If you're enjoying it so far, please make sure you're subscribed on whatever platform you're watching on. I am on my main YouTube channel. I am on Odyssey. I am on Rockfin. And I'm even on my Facebook page for as long as I'm allowed to have a Facebook page. My Facebook page, fun fact, my Facebook page has actually been restricted since December of last year because I quoted the New York Times on it, and it's been restricted ever since. So I don't know. Who knows how long I'll have one? Whatever. But let's keep going. I want to change the topic to vaccines. Now, as we all know, I did the thing this week that YouTube wanted me to do, which is I got myself vaccinated. I am now safe. I am now in the blessed class. I did it because I'm a very selfish person that wants to be able to travel to London in less than a month, and I don't want to sit in quarantine for 2 weeks. That's why I did it. I also don't believe the vaccine's going to hurt me. And the CDC doesn't believe that either. And the CDC really wants you to get the vaccine. The CDC is your god when it comes to the vaccine. I have to say that, or else YouTube doesn't like it when I talk about vaccines. But I wanted to talk about this article. This is a real article that is really on CNN that was posted on Friday evening. And let's just take a look at the headline for a second. People vaccinated against COVID-19 less likely to die from any cause. So I'm actually thrilled to hear that because I am vaccinated and I did the thing that YouTube wanted me to do, and I'm now in the blessed class. I'm glad to hear that I'm like less likely to die if I go skydiving and like the parachute doesn't open, or I'm less likely to die if like I'm in a car accident, or I'm less likely to die if someone fires a gun at me. Like I feel like I've gained immunity. I've gained immortality. Perhaps not from COVID. Although, check the CDC. I'm not a medical doctor. Check the CDC. The vaccine is perfect and beautiful and wonderful. I am thrilled to hear that I am invincible, according to CNN. Let's read this article. People who got COVID-19 vaccines were not only less likely to die from the virus, but were also less likely to die from any cause over the following months, researchers reported on Friday. The research team was trying to demonstrate that the 3 authorized COVID-19 vaccines are safe, and they say their findings clearly demonstrate that. Now, here's the first problem. The research team was trying to demonstrate that the 3 authorized COVID-19 vaccines are safe. When you start a research project, you should not be trying to demonstrate a certain hypothesis. Your goal is actually to prove the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis is nothing is happening. That is what the goal of any properly done scholarly research is. To prove the null hypothesis, to prove that nothing is happening. If you cannot prove the null hypothesis, then you are able to say, okay, there's a correlation or a causation here. But no, that's not what they're doing here. They were trying to demonstrate a specific outcome, and then by pure coincidence, they achieved that outcome. They were trying to demonstrate something, and they were successful at demonstrating that thing. Recipients of the Pfizer, Moderna, or J&J vaccines had lower non-COVID-19 mortality rates than did the unvaccinated comparison group, the researchers wrote in a weekly report for the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. Oh, they did it for the CDC. The CDC, where we should go for all of our vaccine-related information according to YouTube. So make sure you're checking with the CDC. COVID-19 vaccines authorized in the United States have shown again and again to be safe. This study confirms their safety. Well, apparently, it not only confirms their safety, it also confirms that I have invincibility from anything. This is extremely good news. Who knows what might happen when I go to London? I don't know. Could be a terrorist attack. Maybe the Queen dies and there's like a riot or an uprising. There'll be an uprising. With my luck, when I go to London, there's going to be an uprising of the proletariat when the Queen dies. An overthrow of the monarchy. And I am now invincible from any of these eventualities. Fantastic. In fact, it shows that people vaccinated for COVID-19 had lower death rates than those who were not vaccinated, even when COVID deaths were excluded. That's in addition to the mounting evidence from other studies showing that the COVID-19 vaccines are effective against COVID-19 infection, serious illness, and death. The team studied 6.4 million people who had been vaccinated against COVID-19 and compared them with 4.6 million people who had received flu shots in recent years, but had not been vaccinated against the coronavirus. They filtered out anyone who had not died from COVID-19 or after a recent positive coronavirus test. During December 2020 and July 2021, COVID-19 vaccine recipients had lower rates of non-COVID-19 mortality than did unvaccinated persons after adjusting for age, race, sex, blah, 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 blah. People who got 2 doses of Pfizer were 34% as likely to die of non-coronavirus causes in the following months as unvaccinated people, the study found. People who got 2 doses of Moderna were 30%, 31% as likely to die as unvaccinated people. And those who got the J&J, which is what I got, were 54% as likely to die. Okay, so I'm a little less invincible than if I got the Pfizer or Moderna, but I still have a pretty high degree of invincibility, and I think that's good news for me. Dragonwater said, I will send you some kryptonite and see what happens. I don't like that idea, Dragonwater. I don't think that's going to work out well. Part of this is probably because people who got vaccinated tend to be healthier than people who don't, the researchers noted. I don't know what they're basing that on, but fine. The lower mortality rate after COVID-19 vaccination suggests substantial healthy vaccine-y. There's an extra vaccine-y effects, i.e. vaccinated persons tend to be healthier than unvaccinated persons, which will be explored in future analysis. These findings reinforce the safety profile of currently approved COVID-19 vaccines in the United States. All persons aged 12 and older should receive a COVID-19 vaccine, they concluded. I'm going to leave it up to all of you to decide whether or not you agree with the study that says people who are vaccinated are less likely to die from anything. Because according to YouTube, I can only tell you what the CDC wants me to tell you. And the CDC funded this study. And so this is obviously what the CDC wants me to tell you. So I can't just tell you any differently than that. I would be violating YouTube's policies. I'd probably get a strike on my channel. So you all have the article. We read it in full. You know, the CDC is your god insofar as the vaccine is related.